I'm Jeff Sturgis from Whitetail Habitat Solutions, and really wanted to talk about one of our favorite trail cam setups. And this is a little bit different because everyone's focusing on early season right now. We're shooting this towards the end of August, depending on what time you see it. Maybe it's in end of September. The bottom line is a lot of people are so focused on what's going on in the early season, they forget about some of their best stands, which are those rut stands and those morning season stands. You know, the morning, when we get into rut season, my favorite time to hunt. Morning stand sits account for only 15% of my hunts for the entire year, no matter where I'm hunting, but they account for about 70% of my oldest buck kills, my mature bucks. And so this is one of those setups. It's a bedding area stand location. And we have big bedding area, we've cut here, big bedding here, and then lay of the land. This is an outside point, meaning we don't have food up against this. It's an inside corner. There's a lot of buck cruising around here. Because it's a nice point, it's up high, and we have distant ag and food sources way down below, 300, 400 feet in elevation that way, then this sets up as a beautiful buck spot because it's a nice point up here. Now, if this was giant food, deer wouldn't be bedding here. They'd be bedding low. So we have food down low, they bed high. If food's up here high, they bed down low. Hope that makes sense. There's no rhyme or reason to exactly where they bed other than they don't bed next to food because of that stress and commotion. So that sets us up here. Well, how do we monitor this? We don't want to come in here mid-October. Certainly change an SD card on a trail camera. We want to let this set, soak. We want to get some indications of what kind of buck is back here. So then when it turns into a frosty, cold, toe-numbing morning in late October, we can sneak in here at the right time, which I'll talk about in a second. But I want to talk about this setup here and how we're setting the trail camera up here to even see what's going on. I want to make sure whatever buck is out here is going to come in and hit this trail camera. I don't want to leave it to chance that it's just on a random runway down here and he's using another runway 10 yards over, and mature bucks can be like that. They'll use a certain way in and out, 10 feet over, 20 feet over, where you have a trail camera, maybe even on an old scrape or next to an old rub. They just don't use that year for whatever reason. Mature bucks are like that. They're very particular about how they come in and out. So in this area, we have cuttings that extend to the right in this aspen, cuttings that extend to the left, and that leaves this big nice opening right here with Jen standing back there right in this travel corridor, and she's also standing by the mock scrape. Jen, if you could grab up there, probably a couple. So that end of that mock scrape is full of deer scent. They rub their preorbital glands on it, they leave that scent, and it develops a condition. However you use a mock scrape, we really like using one without scent. We let the deer accumulate their own natural scent on there over and over again. That'll establish this corridor going through here between this bedding. We also have a reveal on here, and we have a solar panel. And those reveal solar panels are excellent. Some of the guys from Tactacam have had them running for over 2 years without having to change batteries or anything. And that's our goal in a bedding area like this. We have some others in remote locations where we can't just come in and out here. We don't want to come into a bedding area a month from now, let alone 2 months from now, unless we're actually hunting. So we want this thing to run for a year more, 2 years if we can. We've set it up. We have a lithium battery pack in there. We put that there. And that being said too, we have this on a 3 to 5 minute delay. So we have this set on delay. Even though we have the solar panel on there, we don't want to run the risk of this running out anytime soon. We have it on picture and video. We set the video for 10 seconds. We put the photo on 16 megabyte because we want to be able to actually see what kind of deer here. We can zoom right in when we have the higher resolution. And so we've set this up to last a long time and being in a location we don't expect to come back to. So you can see how the solar panel, we have the cuttings right back here from the bedding area. So it's facing to the southeast. So we get that big midday sun right in this wheelhouse right here, actually south-southwest. So about 1 in the afternoon, noon, we're really starting to get a lot of sun in this big open canopy right here. And that's what powers this. They say on the actual solar panel itself, you can get a couple thousand photos or more, let alone on the battery pack, you can get about 3,000. So even if you have total shade, the solar panel is going to give you, once charged, more pictures, almost double your amount of pictures you can get without the solar panel alone. But when you add the solar panel and actually face to the sun, it keeps recharging. The camera will use that solar panel first, and so it really extends the life of the use, and in a spot like this is perfect. We like to put our solar panel up high. We put it a couple feet above the camera. We're already putting the camera at 5 to 6 feet, so it's out of the deer's range and eyes. And then we're putting the solar panel even higher. And you see with the mount, we're able to angle that up at the sun, and that also keeps it out of the view of the deer. I don't like those when you put a solar panel down at face level. Now you have the camera on one side, solar panel on the other. And we do see a lot of mature bucks that have an aversion to that, especially in these higher pressure states to the north. So keep that in mind when you're setting it up. So all that's left to do is we'll see what bucks are over there hitting the scrape next to Jen. And we come in through a field in a corner here. We have a big bank of switchgrass to come through here. We'll come through here right at first light, because I want to go through that field out there when we know the coast is clear. I call it a post-daybreak stand entrance. When the coast is clear, we'll come right down this top here. We're not exposing ourselves to the side much. It's really thick. We'll sneak right into the stand. The stand is right behind Dylan. We'll be adding a stand here in about 2 weeks. It goes on that red oak back there, and then we have this giant white oak in front. So the stand actually will face right here. We can turn to our left and shoot in this big open area. The transition is right in front, so we'll be able to shoot buck quartering away. We'll be able to draw with that big white oak in front of us. We'll have that ladder stand right up there behind those white oak leaves. So hopefully we'll hide in there. I'm sure we will really well. And once this is all set up, we already have the camera going, the mock scrape. It's just a matter of waiting game. You get the stand in here in a couple weeks in early September, and then it'll be 6, 7, 8 weeks before we're back here again for hopefully that 40–50% sit, where we've let this area heat up. We haven't disturbed the deer. We have a remote camera location that'll let us know what's going on with the reveal and the solar panel. We'll see that buck in here that we want to go after, that nice target buck. And when he's back here and it's that time of year, we're going to sneak in here in the morning and we'll see what happens. What I call those 40–50% sits, where you let the perfect bedding area stand for morning, heat up, you don't disturb it. And for that, we're not going to take a chance in here in the early season, because we have a really nice water hole over that way, about 150 yards, a small hunting plot about 150 yards past that. We have a great cruising stand down here. And I look at it, if we come up in here and we mess that bedding area stand up in here early when those bucks are already bedded well before daylight, then we ruin the chance for an eventual encounter with a giant mature buck during the rut at a time when we haven't disturbed this bedding area all season long. Again, we've let it heat up, we've monitored it, and we've let it heat up. We've been able to monitor it with the camera, solar panel set up, and we'll sneak in here for an expected great hunt during the rut later this fall.